GlamGirlChelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I'm a beauty enthusiast that loves to talk about everything dealing with beauty and makeup, and today we are reviewing the new Fenty Beauty liquid highlighters. So I will be showing a demonstration of both of these highlighters on both sides of my face, a demonstration of both of them on my eyes, and applying them on top of my foundation. And then I will be doing comparison swatches of these liquid highlighters to some other liquid highlighters that I have, like my Tom Ford, my LYS Beauty, and Danessa Myricks. We will also be quickly reviewing the new Goss Holiday Edition brush. Yes, I've already used it, so that's why it's dirty, but I will be showing you it in action and giving you a quick review of my thoughts and how I like it. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it. And let's get right into this video. Okay, so first let's start off with the Fenty products. Now, each one of these products does retail for $28, and we do get 5 shades. So here is the outer packaging of the box, if I could say the kind of classic Fenty packaging. And then here is the actual packaging of the liquid highlighter. I did pick up 2 shades, and I have shades Honey Hottie 04, and that is described as copper gold. And then I have shade Hustler Baby 03, which is described as a peachy champagne. And this is what the packaging looks like for Hustler Baby. So this is going to be cruelty-free, vegan. It's gonna have a shimmer finish, and it's a super fine liquid highlighter with an effortlessly buildable, skin nourishing formula that leaves a fresh, ultra modern shine. It is free of parabens and phthalates, and it's going to give us a next level glow that has a super fine shimmer that can build to a sheer veil to a show-stopping visible radiance. And its light as air radiance is transfer resistant, we will test that, and dries down quickly. Plus it comes in a range of shades for all skin tones. So I moved us in closer so we can see these babies in action. So going in first with Hustler Baby, let's do some quick swatches. Okay, so it is a squeezy tube, which I did assume it would be. And this is what it looks like on my finger. So it's not too runny of a product. That's what Hustler Baby looks like. That looks beautiful. And I can definitely see the shimmer on my hand, or on my finger, I should say, and hopefully you all can see that as well, is Honey Hottie. Blend it out. These are very smooth, and it kind of feels like it has a water base to it, which water is the first ingredient, I want to say, yes, for each one of these. So I can definitely feel that water texture. Let's do, I do have Hustler Baby as a highlighter. So let's see if the shade is the same. So that's what Hustler Baby looks like in powder form compared to the liquid highlighter. And I would say that they actually do look different. Hustler Baby, in terms of the liquid highlighter, looks more like it has a pinky tone to it. Does that look like that to you all, compared to the highlighter has more of a gold base to it? Interesting. Okay, so let's get this on the face. So I'm gonna just take what's on my arm, because why waste product? And let's just smooth it all out. I'm thinking of using this product. I want to see how it looks on the face, like if you apply it all over the face, under a more matte, natural type of foundation. So I'm going to go in today with the Fenty Eavesdrop Blurring Skin Tint to see what it looks like under there, because I actually just realized I don't have the Fenty Pro Filter foundation. I decluttered that a few months ago because it was too dry, and now I'm like, shoot, I wish I would have kept it. But the Eavesdrop Skin Tint does have more of a like natural to sort of, you know, kind of a matte finish. So we can see how it looks underneath that. So this is what Hustler Baby looks like on the skin. I can definitely see the shimmer within the formula, and it definitely does dry down pretty quickly. Yeah. Looking at it from a distance, we can definitely see that glow, that shine, and that sheen. So yeah, and I think it blended really nicely into the skin. If you don't like shimmer in terms of in your liquid products, you're not gonna like this because I can definitely see the shimmer. Hopefully you all can see that on my skin. So let's see what it looks like, you know, once we put something on top. Now I'm gonna go in with Copper Hottie, and this has definitely started to dry down some. This is what it looks like with me trying to kind of blend it onto my finger. So I'm gonna take what's on my finger, but it definitely does dry down quickly. So I would agree with that claim that it does dry down quickly. And so you'll want to move quickly to blend it into wherever you're trying to blend it into. But I will say it is moving. So it's not one of those liquid highlighters that once it dries, like it doesn't move at all. At least in the time frame that I've been talking and since I've like swatched it onto my hand. Okay, now Copper Hottie, is that its name? No, Honey Hottie, not Copper Hottie, it's Copper Tone. Honey Hottie is definitely one that would be very beautiful on a deeper complexion. So on me, it definitely does pull a bit more orange, but copper does have a more of an orange base. So let's see what it looks like underneath the skin tint. I'm just putting the remainder that's on my finger onto my face. So we've got Honey Hottie on this side of the skin, and then we have Hustler Baby on this side. What do you guys think? So I like that Honey Hottie doesn't have the shimmer. I like that. Hustler Baby, the shimmer almost looks, it almost looks like fallout. It almost looks like fallout on my face compared to Honey Hottie just looks like a beautiful sheen. So I'm loving the sheen that's coming from these liquid highlighters. And I'm interested to see if the other shades have this shimmer to it because I don't see it in Honey Hottie, but I do see it in Hustler Baby. So, okay, so let's do a test to see if this is transfer proof because I feel like it's had time to dry down. So this side with Hustler Baby definitely just kind of feels like my skin. Honey Hottie feels like slightly tacky. So got my paper towel nice and white and I'm gonna press really hard. Hopefully you all can see that. Very, very little transfer. Like, I see just a little bit right here. All right, let me flip it over. Let's do Honey Hottie. I'm pressing as hard as I can without hurting my face. Okay, so we do see a little more transfer from Honey Hottie, but I mean, let's see, let's mimic me taking my clothes off. So and I do see a little bit of transfer. I mean, but I feel like that's still pretty good for a liquid product because I definitely have my fair share of liquid products, and I feel like I'm just gonna add a little bit more of Honey Hottie. I feel like, you know, I've seen much worse transfer. So just adding a little bit more Honey Hottie because I feel like I took off some. So going in with the new Wayne Goss brush. This is his holiday edition type of a brush and it is stunning. I love the shape of this brush. It is made in Japan and it is a natural haired brush. It does retail for $95, I believe. And he wanted a base brush. So this brush can apply foundation. It can apply fake tanner onto your body. Pretty much any liquid product that you want to apply to the face or the body, this brush will do. So I'm gonna use this brush to apply the skin tint. And you know what, I feel like I need to apply a little bit more of this liquid highlighter. So I'm gonna apply Hustler Baby to my forehead. So going in with the skin tint, I have shade 13. And I'm just going to draw my lines and blending it in. Okay, so foundation is blended out. I will say that this brush definitely blended in the product quite nicely. And I like that I could cover a large surface area with the brush. You can also apply skincare with this, which I think is really cool. So looking forward to using this brush some more. Really do like it. And of course the bristles are nice and soft. It has some nice density to it. So I will definitely be adding this to my foundation brush collection. I really enjoy it. And I like this groove right here too. If you see, it kind of has this indentation, so your thumb fits nicely into the groove. Now, let's get into these liquid highlighters. So looking at my skin, I do feel like we can see a nice radiance coming through, which is beautiful. And you guys know I love me a glow. I really do like this glow that is coming from the liquid highlighters. I don't think it's too much. I also like that on this Hustler Baby side, I barely see the shimmer flecks that we initially saw just when the Hustler Baby's liquid highlighter was on the face alone. So like I'm getting up close and I see a couple, but it's not as apparent as it was prior to putting the skin tint over it. So I am happy about that. For me, this kind of saves the liquid highlighter for me, because I was like, if I would have seen the shimmer like very blatant to where, like I said, to me, it would kind of look like fallout, then I don't know if I would have really wanted to wear this on like the actual face outside of like the highlighted portion. Because for me, if I wear a liquid highlighter, a lot of times I either want to wear it all over the face first. Sometimes I want to mix it into my foundation, and I'm not going to always want shimmer like all over the face like that. This Honey Hottie side looks beautiful, and I really feel like, you guys tell me because I can't see at this point what my footage looks like, but to me, I don't feel like I see a difference in the skin tint shade on this side of my face compared to this side of my face. So that actually is saving Honey Hottie, because at first I was like, this, I might have to like exchange this for a different shade because this is too deep for me to wear. But looking at my face, I feel like you really can't see the actual shade of this particular highlighter. You just see radiance coming through, which is really, really pretty. So I kind of like them. I think that they're really pretty. My forehead doesn't look like crazy or anything, you know, in terms of it looking oily or what have you. And I think that's because, once again, even though these are liquid highlights, they're not like, for instance, my beloved Hollywood Flawless Filter. I love this stuff, love it. But this has more of a wet-like texture. And so let me do some swatches of this one so you can kind of see it in action. So this is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. When applied to the skin, even under your foundation, this is gonna come off as like more glass-like, more of a actual dewier look onto the skin versus just pure radiance. And I feel like the Fenty liquid highlighter, it's giving us a really nice radiance. So if you have oily skin, I could see you actually liking this if you're like, I don't want to have the dew added, but I don't mind a glow, right? And especially if you have oilier skin, you might just want to have the glow concentrated on the high points of your face where you would normally apply highlighter, and you can do that. So let's take this product, take both products again. Let's apply them on top of the skin. So I'm just gonna take a little bit onto my finger, tap it on the back of my hand, and let's blend it in with my finger to see what this looks like on top of a skin tint. Because sometimes some liquid highlighters, when they dry down quickly, they can sometimes pick up the foundation on top because they dry down too fast. And I don't think this one did that, which is really nicely. So then we do see an even more concentrated glow on the high points of the face. Now on this part of the face, I don't mind as much if I have shimmer, like an actual shimmer speckles within the highlighter, because this is where I would normally place highlighter, and depending on like what I'm doing, what look I'm going for, it's okay. So I actually don't mind it like on this part of the face. Let me go in with a dual fiber brush to see how this also blends out with a brush. So I'm going in with Honey Hottie on this side, and I'm just gonna place it here, add a little bit more. Let's see how it blends with the brush. So going in with the Sonia G detailing brush, let's see if it blends nicely. Because sometimes, once again, if a liquid highlighter dries too fast, it doesn't move too well with a brush. It moves better with your finger. And this actually blended really nicely with the brush. I'm very happy about, because I tend to use a brush more than I use my fingers. So this, that's cute. That is cute. Okay, I think what I want to do now. Let's you know me. I like to take things up a notch. Let's go in with a little Hustler, baby. Okay, this is the Sonia G mini cheek brush. I'm just now getting a whiff of. Now this highlighter alone is already stunning. But the liquid highlighter definitely took it up a notch. So if you want to see the glow before you see me, this is definitely a beautiful base to add to it. Now, I don't have like a copper toned highlight in the normal highlighter formula, but I do have Cognac Candy, the Diamond Balm. I don't know if this is still available. And oh, look at this copper tone. So I do want to add a little bit of Cognac Candy on top. I'm going to go in with the same brush. Look at that. Now that's cute. That's beautiful. Okay, so I went in with the Fenty bronzer in Caramel Cutie. I have that on the face, and now I'm gonna go in with Hustler Baby, the liquid highlighter. I also took the Fenty bronzer and just ran it through my crease and transition area. I'm gonna take Hustler Baby and dab it onto the eyes, because when I looked up the how to use instructions, it said put it on the eyes for more of a pop to the eyes. So we're gonna blend this in. I'm using the Refer 15 brush to blend this over the eye. That's nice. Now this shimmer and the shimmer flex look great on the eye, because obviously, you know, we tend to like a little shimmer on the eye. So going in with Honey Hottie, and I'm using like the smallest amount. So this is what I'm using, and you don't need a lot, which is great. A little does go a long way. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more of Honey Hottie and put it onto the eyes. And then wiping off the Refer 15 brush so we can use the same brush, and just blending this over the eye. And that's really pretty as well. So we've got Hustler Baby on this side, and then Honey Hottie on this side. Now I kind of want to, because, you know, why not? I'm gonna take the Hustler Baby highlighter, the powder highlighter, and add this on top of the liquid highlighter. This is the Sonia G Worker 2 brush. And you don't need to add a powder highlighter on top of these to set it, because it does dry down very nicely. But you can always add, you know, a shimmer on top and intensify the shimmer that you added. So that definitely, like it did on the face, definitely intensified this powder highlight for sure. And let's do the same on the other side. So going back in with Cognac Candy, the Diamond Balm, and I'm just gonna use the other side of the Worker 2 brush from Sonia G. And tap that over Honey Hottie. And that is gorgeous. Once again, giving the Cognac Candy Diamond Balm, just more intensity. Okay, here's the finished look with everything on my face. I did go in to set my face with the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Pillowy. I have that just in my T-zone. I already told you that I went in with the Fenty Beauty Bronzer in Caramel Cutie. That's what I have on the cheeks and in the transition area of my eye. For blush, I went in with the Hermes blush in the shade Rose Palmette on the cheeks. And then on the lips, I have the Fenty Beauty Stunner Lip Paint in the shade Underdog. So, into just some few comparison swatches. When I felt the texture of these liquid highlighters, I immediately thought of the Danessa Myricks Illuminating Veil, and this is in the shade Radiance. This particular liquid highlighter does dry down very fast. It reminds me a lot of, or I should say the Fenty highlighters remind me a lot of this one. So here is a swatch of the Danessa one. This one I would say has the same dry down as the Fenty Beauty ones. And let me put the Fenty ones back on my arm so you can see the comparisons of shades and maybe the texture as well. So Hustler Baby by Fenty. And once again, the Fenty highlighters, liquid highlighters, feel more watery than the Danessa Myricks. So Hustler Baby from Fenty, Danessa Myricks and Radiance, and then Honey Hottie and Fenty. Yes, Honey Hottie. Yes. So looking at them in terms of shades, they are not, you know, so similar in shade, but we do get a nice high shine from Danessa as well as we do get from Fenty. The one thing that I felt was very similar between Danessa's and Fenty was the dry down. It dries down very quickly, and just like with Danessa's, these Fenty ones, if you don't move as quickly as you should, it's gonna dry into place. Now, I will say with the Fenty highlighters over Danessa's, if you use your finger, you will get more mobility with these highlighters, and you can still get them to move around even after they've dried down. And this is within a period of time. I'm not saying indefinitely. With Danessa's, I feel like after a few minutes and it has set, it is not budging at all. So you've got to move quickly. I feel like with the Fenty ones, you have a little bit more flexibility before it then gets to that point where it's like, okay, we've dried down and we're set into place. So that's that. Then I wanted to pull out, I don't know if these are still available, the Tom Ford Glow Drops, and I have mine in the shade Reflex Guilt. This is another liquid highlighter that I feel kind of dries down. This one doesn't dry down, I would say, as fast and like as bulletproof as the Fenty ones. And this one, I would say, can work better with mixing it into your foundation. So as you can see, the consistency of the Fenty ones and Danessa's is a little bit less, I would say a little less fluid than the Tom Ford liquid highlighter. And like I said, Tom Ford's gives me more of like, almost has more of like a lotion type texture. But once again, Tom Ford is going to dry a little bit, just not as much as Fenty and Danessa. Then I wanted to pull out LYS's liquid highlighters. And this is the shade Brave. This is their champagne shade. So now with LYS, this one is going to feel more like the Fenty one. So you definitely feel the water in the LYS liquid highlighter, but it doesn't dry down as quickly. And I would say these I feel like are more similar to like the liquid highlighter from Tom Ford. They aren't gonna dry down too fast or really have like a solid dry down finish. So this is the shade Fearless in LYS, the shade Brave in LYS. And then this is the Tom Ford one, the two by Fenty, and then Danessa. And so hopefully you can see just the textures of the different liquid highlighters and the finishes. I feel like with the LYS ones, like I said, quite similarly to the Tom Ford one. I'm just touching it as it's drying down. These you can definitely mix in with your highlighters. So these three, Tom Ford and LYS, you can mix in with your foundations and use it as like a liquid highlighter that you would want to potentially manipulate a matte foundation to make it more glowy. You can do that with the Fenty ones and Danessa's. You just gotta work quickly. And then depending on preference, you may not want to do it with the Hustler Baby Fenty liquid highlighter simply because it does have those actual flecks of shimmer. And like I said, I can barely see them on the skin, but if I look up close and kind of tilt my head a little bit, I can see a fleck here or there. I don't see it with Honey Hottie. So just take that into consideration when looking at the shades and like trying to figure out what you would like to do with them and how you feel they will serve you best. Now, like I said, with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, I would reiterate as well with the Auric Glow. I think both of these liquid highlighters are going to actually be more of a liquid that has a more foundation feel, sort of like there's no shimmer in these at all in terms of like shimmer flecks. And these are definitely going to be more fluid. There will not be any dry down with these two products compared to these. These have a bit of a dry down. I would say the Danessa's will be the driest in terms of like how it dries down and in terms of mobility. Then I would put Fenty as drying down next. So being resistant, but you have a little bit more time to work with these before they dry down. And then between the Tom Ford and the LYS, I feel like the Tom Ford and LYS, they kind of have the same finish. So as you can see, it has set some between the three, but they're not gonna set completely like these three will. And then for Auric and Charlotte Tilbury, these are definitely going to just remain liquidy. They're not gonna dry down at all. So in terms of who I recommend these liquid highlighters to, I would recommend these to people who would like to use them maybe as bases for your eyeshadow. I think they definitely intensified the highlighters that I put on top, and I really like it. These are really beautiful on the skin and on the eyes. I would also recommend these for people who would like to use them as bases to your highlighters. So I feel like my highlight, it might have toned down a bit from adding bronzer and things like that, but the highlighters have definitely been elevated due to these. They're very easy to work with, and I really like that about them. And then you can really use them as bases for your foundation. And what is great about it, depending on your preferences, is I do not feel like it has changed the formula of the skin tint. So I feel like the skin tint still looks more natural in terms of its finish. It looks like it's pulling a little bit more matte, but the difference is you do see radiance coming through. So once again, if you're someone who does like more of a radiant finish versus a dewy finish, I think you could enjoy these as a base, just depending on what you like. If you are someone who has more normal to dry skin, I think you still could appreciate these if you just want a radiance. I wouldn't recommend these if you're looking for something to add more of like a dewy look. I would recommend either the Auric Glowless or the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. For the Glowless, just to let you know, I wear the shade Citrine, and then I think I already said it before, but for Hollywood Flawless Filter, shade 5.5. Of the two, hands down recommend Charlotte Tilbury as my favorite for giving that really beautiful, dewy, kind of wet look. And for more matte foundations, we definitely can help it look more natural to like radiant on the skin. And Auric does the same. I just like the way Charlotte's Hollywood Flawless Filter does it better. So I think if you do have more normal to dry skin, you can still appreciate these. You're just use them wanting a more radiance, not like in a sense to make your more matte foundations more dewy. I hope that makes sense. I think these are cute, and I think if you are interested in them, and like I said, you know what to expect. Obviously, I don't have all of the shades, so I don't know if the lighter shade and the deepest shade is going to have those flecks of shimmer in them. But just know that Hustler Baby does, so there's a potential that the other shades can. So if you can maybe go in store and swatch them, then you can take a look at it, because it's very evident to see on the skin which ones have flecks of shimmer and which ones don't. And then that can maybe help you decide how these will work best for you. So I think these are definitely really cute and nice, and I like the overall finish that it has left on my face. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below as to how you like these products. Do these look like products that you would be interested in? And if so, how do you think you would best use these? And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, another day of Vlogmas is in the bag. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.